the reason that we're doing this is so that this kind of, if you will, I'm doing air quotes here, easy part of life, if we can get those questions answered, those boxes checked, then we will have the energy to think and focus on other things and on our marriage and on our parenting, which we all want to do.
Hey there, and welcome to the Digital Nomad Family Podcast. This is the place where families who have or want to have a nomadic lifestyle come together to talk about the highs and lows that this life brings. We celebrate the joys and support each other in the hard. So, if you are a digital nomad family or will be in the future, this is the place for you. We're glad you're here.
Hey guys, Marissa here from Family of Dashes, and I am your host on Digital Nomad Family Podcast. And I want to say thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us here at the podcast. I hope that you learned something, that you are inspired, and I just really hope that this is a place where you find value. The whole purpose of Digital Nomad Family Podcast was created out of this idea that being a nomadic family is becoming more and more popular. And as people transition to this lifestyle, I want to make sure that they are thriving as a family in this very unique way of living life together. Because just because you're traveling the world together doesn't mean you're going to leave the problems behind, or if you have an issue in your passport country, that as soon as you get on that international flight out of there, that it's going to go away, because it's not. And so as my family transitioned to a nomadic one, I kept talking to my husband, Eric, and I'm like, I just wish that there was some place out there to just connect with other families and say, yes, we're traveling, but we're still a family. We are still dealing with all the same family stuff that we have dealt with in the past. We just happen to be in a different country. We happen to be surrounded by different walls of this house versus our other house, and we don't own as much stuff maybe, but there's still a lot to consider as a nomadic family. And so because of that desire to help families truly thrive as a digital nomadic family, I created this podcast. And I really hope that as you listen, you will learn tips and tricks and some ideas to make being a nomadic family easier. Because if we can make the stuff that makes being a nomadic family tricky, if we can make that a little bit easier, then we can really focus on thriving as a family. Because there are things that just have to happen logistically as a nomadic family when you are traveling around. You have to make sure that passports are good. You have to make sure visas for the next country you're going to are good. There's so much you have to consider. Then on top of that, you still have school and laundry and siblings fighting with each other and marriage. There's everything. And so that's what this podcast is for. It is to help us connect together and say, let's communicate well about the easy stuff, if you will. And that way we'll have the energy and the time to really focus on the harder parts of our family, because every family is unique and different and has to spend energy working on different areas. And that's what makes each and every family unique. So with that being said, we are going to start a 6-part series called My 5 Faves. And each episode, I'm going to highlight kind of a different category or area of life. And I'm just going to tell you I said 5 really funny there, didn't I? My 5 favorite things for that category. And like I said, the reason that we're doing this is so that this kind of, if you will, I'm doing air quotes here, easy part of life, if we can get those answer those questions answered, those boxes checked, then we will have the energy to think and focus on other things and on our marriage and on our parenting, which we all want to do. So that is what this series is about. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the plan is, we'll see if I can stick to this, people. The plan is to make these episodes kind of short and punchy, and just kind of jump in and talk about what category of life we're focused on for that episode, and then what my 5 favorite things in that category are. I am not sponsored by anything you're going to hear in any of these 6 episodes. Nothing, nada. Everything you are going to hear is my opinion, what I think of it, but I will leave links in the show notes to all the stuff. It is either going to be an Amazon link or just a link to that, like the website for that company. So it'll kind of change, but if I have like a brand specific thing, I might just link to the website. If I have kind of a generic type thing, I'll probably just do an Amazon link. So let's dive in to today's 5 faves. So my 5 faves, personal edition. And what I mean by personal edition is, for me and for our family, these are things that maybe you won't find important or worth noting, but for us, they really have helped. The reason I want to start with personal edition is because that's what family is. It's personal. It's, hey, here's the 6 of us, and what are important things for us. It doesn't mean it's going to be an important thing for another family, and that's okay. That's the beautiful thing about family, and the beautiful thing about family travel is we get to pick what goes in our suitcases. So let's go first. My 5 faves, personal edition. These are in no particular order, by the way, but number 1 is called a Diva Cup. Now, if you are a man, you might be thinking, what is that? If you're a woman, you also might be thinking, what is that? But we're going to get just real personal here, but I don't care. A Diva Cup is a menstrual cup. And the reason I love having a Diva Cup over using pads or tampons is because pads are just very uncomfortable for me. I don't love them. And the reason I don't love tampons is because I want you to envision, if you will, as we are all travelers, you are on the airplane, and girls, you know how it is. We have to change a tampon every few hours, else you could get sick. And so you're on the airplane and you're thinking, oh, I need to go change my tampon, but the pilot just will not turn off the seatbelt sign. And you don't want to break the rule, but you're also knowing, oh my gosh, we could have big problems if I don't get to a bathroom here soon. With a Diva Cup, I don't have to worry about that. I can be on a plane for as long as I need to with the seatbelt sign on the entire time, and I know I'm going to be covered. There's not going to be any issues with my health. There's not going to be any issues with my clothing. It's going to be totally fine. So I also love it for if we don't do bus rides, well, we haven't yet. I shouldn't say we don't. We haven't yet done any long bus rides or anything like that, but same idea. When you are at the mercy of another driver, whether it is an airplane pilot or a bus driver, you're really at the mercy of when they stop, how long the stop is, and that can be really just another added stress as you're traveling. Also, with my Diva Cup, I have one. You could have a couple, but you only need one because it's completely reusable. And so being able to know I don't have to get to a store right away and buy tampons and, for whenever my period starts, I'm covered. I have it with me. It's good to go. I would highly recommend, if you haven't ever used a menstrual cup, I understand it can be intimidating, but I love it and it's great. So, like I said, that was super personal, but hey, we're people, right? we're adults. We can deal with that. Okay. Number 2, leaf shave razors. And now I'm going to give a big, like red flag, not red flag. I don't know what they are, like a whoop, whoop, whoop warning. You can only really do leaf shave razors well if you do a check bag. And here's why. It's a straight razor. So you have to have the actual blades, but I have been using my leaf for over 3 years now. It's amazing. It gives me probably the best shave I've ever had. It's so good, in fact, that Eric would use it because Eric shaves his head. And so Eric would use it, and it got to the point I was like, can you please just get your own? I love you so much, but I like having my own stuff. And so he got one then, and then we also got one for each of our girls. They are amazing. Not only are they an amazing shave, but I feel so much better knowing that the only garbage, if you will, that is produced from these razors is the straight razor blade when you're done with it. And they actually have a little container that you can buy that you put them in. You can then mail it back to them, and then they'll recycle them. So if you do that, there's zero garbage, which we do. We just travel with the little the little case that you stick them in, and then when we get back to America, we send it in to them because it holds a lot. Like the old thing, it holds a lot. So if you go back to your to like America a good amount, then you'll be totally fine. Or even just once a year, you'll be fine. And so love these razors. They have them in lots of different fun colors, which the girls really liked. And they're so good. I also love it because when we get to another country, I don't have to buy like razors for everyone. It's just, you have your razor, and we always travel with a bunch of straight razor blades. Now, the reason I say you have to do carry-on for this to do it like well is we carry with us a lot of straight razor blades, but those have to go in a check bag. So I have never seen razor blades here in Peru, but I also haven't looked because I carry my own. So I would suggest this is perfect for the family that has at least one check bag that you can just throw your extra razor blades in to that check bag, and you're good to go. And it's just wonderful. So I also have a favorite brand of the actual blades, and I'll make sure I just get them off of Amazon. I'll make sure that is in the show notes as well. But the razor itself is amazing, great shave, but also these blades that we get are wonderful. So really, really glad we have those. Number 3, in personal edition, I travel with measuring cups and measuring spoons. And I learned that I wanted to do this when we were on our test trip, actually, because as an American, I am very familiar with baking and cooking using the measuring system that I grew up with and that I learned. A lot of countries don't use the measuring system that America uses. Now, a lot of countries do have some type of measuring system, but if you want to be in, like right now we're in Peru, right? If I want to be here in Lima and making my grandma's pancakes, I know how to do that with 3 cups of flour, 2 cups of milk. Like that's how I know to do it. I don't know how to do it converting it to the Peruvian measuring system. Or in Istanbul, the way that they actually measured things was with their teacups. And that was wild to me. Like that's how popular tea is in Istanbul, that they actually use the teacups as measuring, which is really, really cool. But I don't know that. I don't know that system. So I just have some collapsible measuring cups, and I have a measuring spoon. I have 2 measuring spoons. One of them is more of a tablespoon and one is more of a teaspoon, and they can like click and change sizes. So they don't take up a lot of space. And I'm really glad I have them. I use them a good amount, and I will always and forever travel with measuring cups and measuring spoons. Number 4 is actually from Eric, and it is his coffee mug. He has a small insulated coffee mug, and I have one linked in the show notes that's similar. It's not the same one he has, but it's very similar, and he loves it. He really enjoys drinking his coffee in the morning, and I think we are very similar to a lot of Americans that we drink a lot of coffee in the morning. When we were in the States and we had a coffee machine, like a coffee maker, we would make a pot of coffee, and we had a 12-cup coffee maker, and I'm down that thing easily just between the two of us. Once we started traveling and we learned how much we love like good coffee, we transitioned to a French press at home, and we started buying like more better tasting coffee. And now, as we are traveling, we do coffee in various ways. So here in Peru, there actually is a delicious, you can judge me if you want, it's okay, a delicious instant coffee here. And so we do that. It's really easy, it's really fast, but we still like to drink a lot of it. So imagine we had a 12 cup pot at home at one point. So it is nothing for us to have 3 cups of coffee in the morning. And for Eric, he loves just to have his mug because he can put the lid on it. It can stay warm for a while. And also, American coffee mugs, as a rule, are just bigger than other coffee mugs in the world, even just the ones you have here at home. So when we got to this Airbnb, I wasn't loving the coffee mugs, so I actually went to a store and bought a bigger mug because I don't travel with the coffee mug, but I didn't want the small one that was here. So if you have a travel coffee mug that you love, maybe consider taking it. Eric actually used this same mug at our house in Virginia almost every day. So it just kind of made sense as part of his morning routine to say, yeah, I'm going to keep this going. I'm just going to throw it in my bag and take it. And again, that's why this one is called Personal Edition. But I want to encourage you to think, what part of my morning routine do I want to keep going, even when I'm in a different country? If you have a special type of tea that you really like, maybe just buy a couple boxes, throw the bags in your check baggage, and then you'll have it for a little while as you're transitioning to your new digital nomad life. But I just want to encourage you to think about these things and say, what do I want to take? What do I want to have in my kitchen? And for Eric, his coffee mug was a big part of his morning routine, and he uses it every day here, and I'm glad he has it. So number 5, the last one, 5 fave things, Personal Edition. We have a bathroom scale. And for us, it's very important. When we started traveling when we did our test trip, we were actually on Weight Watchers, and that was amazing. We were traveling and we actually lost weight. I would encourage you, if you do want to lose weight, I do think Weight Watchers is a fantastic program. And actually, you can even do it while you're traveling. I've been in multiple countries now and done Weight Watchers. We are not doing Weight Watchers now, but that's not because it doesn't work here in Peru. That was just a personal choice. We're kind of taking our health adventure in another way, if you will. But we still like to have a scale because we are still trying to lose some weight. And for some people, you don't need that number, right? Like you don't need to know, okay, like, yeah, this week I did lose a pound, so I'm going the right way. Some people, they're fine with just looking in the mirror. They're fine with feeling their clothes. And that's totally fine. I'm not saying that you have to have a scale if you are on a health journey. But for us, it's actually motivational to see like, hey, like I did lose 1.5 pounds this week. So I'm going to keep making these good choices. So it's very small. It's very lightweight, and we just keep it in our bathroom in our master bedroom, and it's perfect. We are really excited to have it. Another nice thing about having a scale, which this is not the reason we bought it, but it's like a side benefit, if you will, is checking the weight of luggage. Because we don't travel with like a luggage scale, But since we have this one, we'll just hop on it, see how much we weigh, grab the bag, and then do the math. So kind of a side benefit for that, if you will. So again, I will link to the scale that we have on Amazon, and we really, really like it. It's nice and small, fits in a bag, and it's very, very motivational for us as we are continuing to work on our physical health. So that is it. We're going to cut this one here. I hope that these 5 fave things personal edition kind of got your brain going, and said, hey, what do I want to focus on as we transition or as we are a nomadic family? I hope that it helped you. I hope that you got some value out of it. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. My family is pretty active over on Instagram. So if you want to send a message, go over there, send a message. We are Family of Dashes over on Instagram. There's a link to our Instagram account in the show notes. If you also go to the episode website, there is a way you can email me if you want to just shoot me an email. Go ahead and do that. Well, guys, that is it. I am excited about this series, and I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are. And if you do follow us on Instagram, shoot me a message about maybe your favorite personal item. I would love, love, love to hear that. So thank you guys so much, and I hope that you continue to travel joyfully.